Monday, March 17th, 2014, 2:00 p.m. in council chambers. First item would be adoption of previous minutes from the Committee of the Whole, March the 3rd, and regular open minutes from March the 3rd. Any council input on that? Hearing none, they will be adopted by consensus. No business arising, no late items coming forward. We will adopt the agenda as it is then. No comments. It will be adopted by consensus. Under delegations, I think I'll take this opportunity to bring forth a blessing for and from the Irish. May the road rise to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face, the rains fall soft upon your fields, and until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand. So I just thought I'd introduce that as we are at St. Patrick's Day. Next item up would be some water matters. This was part of our, well, this is accounts. So we're looking at water district accounts in the amount of $1,443.25 from Councillor Marrera Laranjo. All in favor? That is passed. And Water District Rates and Regulations Amendment Bylaw 124106 2014. Were we going to present that, Mr. Romanko,
yes,
as a report?
yes.
Thank you. This has to do with the budget, and there are some price changes here for the rural water users. CAO Romanko, please.
Thank you, Mayor Wells. The town of Vesuvius operates their rural water system under the Water District Rates and Regulations Bylaw 1241. Each year the town's bylaws are reviewed, and when changes are required, they are brought forward as an amending bylaw to update the contents and or fees and charges. This amending bylaw received first 3 readings at the regular open meeting of council on February 17th, 2014. The definition of irrigation has been updated, and schedules A, B, and E have been amended to reflect a $10 increase to a single-family residence and a 2.89% increase to all other water district user fees. The 2014 rate for a single-family residence is $356. The increase is expected to raise $13,700 in additional revenue. Funds available for all capital water projects are $497,585. There are a number of projects that are going to be carried out. I won't go into those. In terms of the community, it's got an improved water structure, infrastructure, improved water quality. There's no organizational requirements. The budget increase will assist with the water capital projects, and then the adoption of the bylaw. We're looking at the March 17th, and then also continued effort to protect our environment, reduce our carbon footprint and financial sustainability, and ensuring the proper use of our water supply. And I have 2 options: to adopt the Water District Rates and Regulations Bylaw Amendment number 1241.606 2014. Second is to rescind the 3rd reading and further amend Bylaw 1241.06 2014 and reread for a 3rd time, and the recommendation is option number 1.
Thank you, Councillor Laranjo. Councillor Marrera seconding. Any discussion on that? All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Next item up is under correspondence, the Okanagan Basin Water Board meeting highlights from March the 6th. Motion to receive, please. I guess Councillor Rhodes, Councillor Plant. Any discussion on this? I guess being a member of that board, the only thing of real significance, other than the report that we have before us, is the new modernization of the Water Act. That's been given first reading, going to have major implications to the Okanagan Valley. From my perspective, all good. All things that we're going to catch up on, and really starting to look at groundwater as a part of our measurable water, and moving towards complete water measurement in all aspects and what that means in regards to floods and droughts and other issues that come forward. So looking forward to see that go through the provincial legislation. The next item would be the bylaws. Did I vote on that? Motion to receive? I didn't think so. Backing that up a little bit, we had the motion and we had the seconder. All in favor? Opposed? That has been put in receipt. Moving into bylaws, report number 1, municipal ticketing information amendment bylaw, foreshore and lake zoning. Mr. Cunningham, please.
The purpose of this report is to recommend that Council read the attached municipal ticketing information amendment bylaw number 1297 for the first, second, and third times. The proposed MTI amendment bylaw has been prepared to introduce specific fines for offenses related to the town's foreshore and lake zoning bylaw number 1294. On April 15th to 13th, Council adopted foreshore and lake zoning bylaw 1294 to 12. These regulations were created to promote environmental sustainability, ensure the safety of water users, avoid overloading and congestion of the Sarius Lake, ensure adequate access to the lake by all user groups, reclaim public lands and water for community benefit, promote the aesthetic appeal as a resort community, and lastly, strengthen the town's regulatory and enforcement powers, which we're talking about today. In 213th, enforcement of the bylaw was dealt with strictly on a complaint and advisory basis to ease in its implementation. The proposed MTI amendments will strengthen our ability to enforce the foreshore and lake zoning regulations in the future as required. The purposes of the amendment bylaw is to add Schedule 27, which includes a list of specific fines associated with the following infractions. 1, obstructing a bylaw officer of an authorized representation of the town, and that's in all of these similar sections right across the bylaw. Prohibited use of uses of prohibited structures, unauthorized private use of the foreshore of waters fronting public lands, exceeding the allowable number of berths, impeding pedestrian access along the foreshore, boat lift covers that are not commensurate with the size of the boat, violations of setbacks from side parcel boundaries, and exceeding the maximum size of dock or walkway. Implications. Pardon me. Committee will improve enforcement measures related to town foreshore and lake zoning regulations. Organizational staff time will be required to implement the bylaw. Budget enforcement of the bylaw will generate revenue. Sustainability reduces impacts on the environment. Options: read MTI bylaw amendment bylaw 129707 for the first, second, and third time. Direct staff to make revisions to the bylaw, or do nothing. Staff recommends option number 1. So I'd just like to add to this that it's quite normal that when we put through a bylaw that we add in provisions to the MTI bylaw right away so that we can start enforcing it. But in this particular case with the water zoning, we decided to hold back for over a year to ease in its implementation, and as it says here, we were only enforcing it on an advisory nature. This gives us the tools, if we ever need them, to deal with serious infractions. But we still hope that we can solve most problems just by talking and communicating about them.
Great. Thank you. Council, please. Councillor Rhodes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to move option 1. That would be to read MTI Amendment Bylaw 1279.07 for the first, second, and third time.
Thank you. And seconder, Councillor McCordoff. Any other discussion on this? If the public did, at a very, very last moment, want some input into it, what would that process be? Or are we beyond that?
Well, no, I would hate to close it off, but if somebody wanted to phone me with a question or suggestion, you know, I would discuss that with them and see whether it was significant enough to make a change to the bylaw. And if it was, I'd come back and ask for for council to redo first, second, and third. So
Okay.
it's not like we're under a great crashing deadline here, so we've got the time to be flexible.
Okay, thank you very much for that input. Anything else from council? Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? That is carried. First three readings coming back next council meeting for adoption.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you. Going into business, under I, business number 1, Fire Hall lease renewal for the East Side Fire Hall. CAO Romanco, please.
Thank you, Mayor Wells. The town of Osoyoos leases a building at 5822 51st Street on the east side of Osoyoos. This lease is to ensure a location on the east side of Osoyoos where the Osoyoos Fire Department houses a portion of the fire protection equipment. This is this requirement of a second location was identified in the 2007 Fire Hall study. And although there's an extensive amount of information taken out of the report in this report, I'll just summarize if that's okay with council. And basically I'm summarizing that this building is being provided to address the travel distance from the existing fire hall, but more importantly it's set up because of the traffic congestion on the two-lane bridge, and to facilitate having fire equipment on the east side of the bridge. And the lease has leasing this building we've leased this building from Mr. Grant since 2005. The lease expires May 31, 2014, and a new lease for 5 years with an option for an additional 5-year extension has been brought forward for council's consideration. The annual cost for this lease is $13,104 with a minimum annual increase of $360. This annual cost equates to $6.24 per square foot leased. In discussions with the fire chief, this building is required, and they recommend that the town continue this lease this building until the traffic flow issues are resolved on the bridge. In terms of the community, continued fire protection services for the community. There's no organizational impacts. The budget, no changes to 214 budget, as renewing lease is the same as last agreement. Minimum $360 increase in future years. Significance to execute this lease and agreement before the previous one expires May 31, 2014. And this ensures the location available for housing fire protection equipment remains available. The options are: 1, to authorize the mayor and corporate officer to sign the lease between the town of Osoyoos and Bob Grant. Secondly, to not renew the lease for the fire hall building at 5822 51st Street. And the administration recommends option 1, which is to sign the lease agreement.
Okay, council, please. Councilor McCordock, please.
Yes, I would like to, thank you. I would like to move option 1 to authorize the mayor and corporate officer to sign the lease between the town of Osoyoos and Bob Grant.
And Councilor Rose on seconding. Input, please. Councilor McCordock?
Thank you. This has been a necessary addition to the town of Osoyoos, leasing this building since 2005, and the fact that the fire chief is recommending that they keep this in operation until either the traffic flows are eased on either side of the bridge, having it wider, or a new fire hall comes into operation and they relook at this. So I'm certainly in favor of doing this for another 5 years.
Thank you. Anything else on that? All in favor? Opposed? That is carried. On to business 2. The Community Foundation of the South Okanagan Similkameen have a report being presented by Director Gerald Davis, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Staff presented a report on March 3rd requesting matching funds to support the Community Foundation of the South Okanagan Similkameen. Council initially approved the allocation of funds for the purpose, but was unsure where the funds would come from. The initial option from staff was to take the funds from the allocated budget for the Community Service Grant Program. The allocated funds for this program is set at $43,000. However, Council has already allocated some of these funds to other projects, which decreases this budget by $7,250. That is the high school bursaries and our fireworks. If we add the Community Foundation request of $2,500, then it will be reduced further. One of the benefiting factors to the grant request was to get the community on board and challenge them to help build the fund. We also have an environmental budget of $4,000 in that budget. In terms of implications for the community, providing the matching funds will help increase opportunities for service clubs and organizations for future grants. The budget is set at $2,500. This can be taken from the Community Service Grant Program. There are no other areas in the approved budget that can be utilized from the Community Services budget. The ASAP, in terms of the significant dates, although no deadline was indicated, and increasing dollar amounts and grant dollar opportunities in general may assist with various nonprofit groups and organizations in achieving or maintaining sustainable practices. In terms of options, option number 1, provide a one-time grant of $2,500 that will be taken from the Community Service Grant Program funding for 2014 and challenge the public to help build the fund for future years. Option number 2, provide a one-time grant of $2,500 to be allocated from another funding source. Or option number 3, provide another amount of funding or do not provide any funding at this time. And staff is recommending option number 1.
Okay. Thank you. And council, please. Councilor McCordoff.
Thank you. I would move option 1, that we provide a one-time grant, $2,500 taken from the community service grant, and challenge the public to build the fund.
Okay, and Councilor Rhodes, the seconder. Councilor speaking to it, Councilor Rhodes, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I know I second the motion, but I feel that I'm going to have to speak against it at this point. The reason being is not the amount and the purpose, which I've stated previously that I am in favor of it. It is the source of funding that's troubling me a little bit, and our community service grants, and I know that it sounds a little contradictory that we've already given out some of those, but the greatest majority of that funding, that allocation of that $43,000, is selected by a committee that we have, and you know, just to take this and put it in front of everything else, I'm a little troubled with that, because at this time we don't really know all of the applicants that have applied for that community funding at this time. And in that group, there may be something that's more important or more beneficial or adds, you know, to a group in our community. And I just feel that, you know, I know it's conflicted, but it's not that I'm against giving it. I like the program. It's just a source of funding and how it would leave the impression that we're stepping this into a priority thing. And I don't think it is. There's no time, as stated in the report, there's no time sensitivity to it. And I'd really hate to see this compromise something that's in that process right now.
Okay. I guess in response to that, there's been quite a few meetings currently in the town with the community foundation, and they are heading for a public launch quite soon. And the $2,500, if I have this right, Director Davis, that's matching. Like, we're putting up $2,500 and they're matching it dollar for dollar. So this $2,500 is actually going to turn into $5,000, and somehow $7,500 comes into that equation. So, and I don't think we've been maybe gotten, because it's happening currently, I don't think maybe we've got all that information back to council. But Councilor McCordoff, do you have more information on the program?
On this program?
Yeah.
No, I don't. But I do think that if we did allow this to be taken, the $2,500, and somebody came with a need that was shown, that we could probably find extra money somewhere else. But I totally understand what Councillor Rhodes is saying, but I do think it's a good. However, Councillor Plant is on that committee, not me.
Okay, Councillor Plante, please.
Yeah, just to speak to that, thank you, Mayor. We actually are planning to meet here very soon, actually this week. We've already are planning to meet to look at the applicants for that. So I kind of agree with that timing. Although we know the dollars are going to be coming out of that fund, where it sits within how we allocate those funds, I think that's important, and can be, if there is no timing restraint, Wednesday is the day that we're actually meeting, and we could see where this falls into place. I don't know if that's an option, but I mean that's happening right away, and then that way we can kind of gauge, how it looks and what it feels like, and then come back. But I don't know if that, again, timing situation, if that makes sense.
Please.
I think that would be another option to pursue. We can include this request as one of the other applications, and bring the strength of it against others in the community and see where it sits. And we can bring that forward too. And again, there's no timeline, so I think it fits the schedule that we have.
Well, the only timeline that I would think of, and I appreciate that, thank you, and Councillor Rhodes' initial position, just there's local members, local citizens sitting on that committee, and there's a launch coming up. There's an evening launch coming up somewhere that they're trying to get going, and it'd be nice to have this as part of it, where they are able to show the support of the community. But I think it's April. Do we?
It's, oh, I thought I had it on here too.
I just saw some emails going by on it, but I think we could probably make that, and if not, we can certainly signal our intention as council to support it at the right time.
It's on Wednesday, April the 9th at 7 o'clock at Watermark.
Okay, thank you. So that would fit our first meeting, and we could come out of the, if it does get that support, then we can take that public at that time. Okay, that sounds excellent. Anything further? All in favor? Opposed? One opposed. Sorry, I'll take that back. So we'll have to defeat the issue on the floor.
No problem.
Okay, so I'll have a revote on that, please. It was a mayor's error. I think that's a category. So all those in favor? Opposed? That carries. Now could we have the new motion corrected? Councillor Plante. I'm looking that way. I'm Councillor Rhodes.
Yeah. Well, I get it. So, do you want us to do a motion based on that, or can we just default it into the program? Because I don't think we have not passed the deadline yet. I think we got a few days left.
I think the motion should read that the $2,500 request be put into the community service grant program for assessment in relation to the other projects.
I'll make that motion then.
Okay.
And I would second that.
Okay. And Ms. Scott, we have that. Thank you. Any further discussion on that? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. So we'll deal with that and get the answer out in time for the public launch of the program. Under I, business number 3, minor hockey community service grant application. Again, Director Davis, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Pee Wee rep and the midget rep teams from the South Okanagan Minor Hockey Association have gained a berth at the provincial championships and are applying for funding to help offset their costs. The Pee Wee provincial championships are hosted in Nelson, and the midget provincial championships are in 100 Mile House. It's quite an accomplishment for a team from our association to make it to provincials. However, costs sometimes be challenging. The tournaments for both run starting this week, March the 15th to the 22nd, and the budget for each team is set at $23,000. The South Okanagan Minor Hockey Association provides $5,000 to each team, and they are responsible to fundraise the remainder. As part of their fundraising activities, they sold raffle tickets, they did bottle drives, they hosted pub nights in Osoyoos and Princeton, and they actually packed groceries for a donation. They also have approached the towns of Oliver, Princeton, and Grand Forks for support. As part of our community service grant program, we have an annual allocation of $2,000, which can be utilized for teams and or individuals traveling to provincial competitions. Teams can receive a maximum of $500, and individual a maximum of $200. There is no deadline for the sports team's grant opportunity. However, once the funding is depleted, applications will no longer be accepted. In the past, minor hockey and figure skating participants have utilized the funds. If council decides to provide each team with the maximum funding, there will be $1,000 remaining for other teams or individuals for the remainder of the year. In terms of implications for the community, obviously supporting local teams to provincial competitions is essential and shows community spirit and support. The budget, we have a $2,000 budget in that specific item for sports teams and individuals. Significant dates, ASAP, as they had already traveled and are at provincials currently. And the options presented are for council to provide $500 to the Pee-wee Rep Tier 3 team and $500 to the Midget Rep Tier 3 team to help offset the costs associated to traveling to the respective provincial tournaments. Option number 2, for council to provide a lower amount of funding for each team, or option number 3, for council not to provide funding at this time. And staff is recommending option number 1.
Thank you. Council, please. Councillor McCordock.
Thank you. I would certainly move option number 1, that we provide $500 to each of the 2 teams to assist with their travel costs.
Thank you. And that seconder, Councillor Plant.
Yep.
Thank you. Discussion on this, please.
Yes, thank you. I think this is a wonderful opportunity. It's for us to show our support to both of these teams, the Pee-wees and the Midgets. They've obviously worked really hard. We have a wonderful hockey program here in Osoyoos, and I think this is just one of the ways that we can say well done and give them a bit of a hand.
Thank you. Anything further? Councillor Rhodes.
Mr. Davis, I'm just curious about the Osoyoos component with these teams. Are they Osoyoos residents, or do you have a sense for that on those 2 teams?
As part of the association, we have representatives from Osoyoos, Oliver, Grand Forks, Princeton, I think that's it, and they're considered the South Okanagan. I think there's more than half of the kids from both teams are from Osoyoos, so there's a really good representation from our town. And again, I'm not sure, they've approached other communities too for funding, and I'm not sure what they received to date. But there is good representation from Osoyoos.
Have we supported this previously? I don't really have any memory of it. And what process did we use for that?
So the last time that I think one of our teams went to provincials, when we actually put this in place, was about 8 years ago. And I think it was Mr. Terry Dawson who brought I think it was the Bantams at the time. And we brought forward this policy as part of this current policy to have something in place. And that was probably the last time it was used. We did have a figure skater, or 2 figure skaters that use it as individuals. But as teams, and again, getting to that provincial level is quite difficult, and that's probably one of the reasons.
Anything further? Councillor Plant.
I just want to say congratulations to those teams. I know the commitment and dedication that every parent and all those players put in, all the travel time, the early mornings. I know some parents with 2-3 kids that got the kids on every team in the South Okanagan here. So the travel time and the dedication. So very proud of them for the support they've done for the fundraising. I've been watching it over Facebook, and I've been to a couple couple of games for what they're doing. So very proud of those teams for making it to that level, and I think we should be proud to support these teams as they travel on provincials and wish them the best of luck.
Thanks, Councillor Plant. Director Davis?
Just a quick update that I found this morning that the Pee Wee boys played their first game and they won 7-4, 7-5, so we're all underway.
Go teams, go. Councillor Rhodes?
Mr. Davis, I'm wondering, I know this is after the fact, but would it be possible for you to report back to us what contributions were given by some of the other communities?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
sure.
just for future information, if you wouldn't mind.
Anything further? Motion of financial support. All in favor? Opposed? That carries. Last item of business, the Destination Osoyoos / Economic Development Committee, terms of reference and membership. CAO Romanko, please.
Thank you, Mayor Wells. Over the last couple of years, Council has passed some motions related to our economic development committees and systems. First of all, there was one that set up the Economic Development Committee, and that was in December of 19th, and had a large, the committee members were established. And February 18th, 2013, there was another motion passed reappointing one of those members because they were set on an annual on a shorter term, so there'd be carryover. And October 7th, 2013, there was another motion that had 3 members of the Economic Development Committee, Len McLean, Rob Roush, and Carol Youngberg, put to the Destination Osoyoos Board as town representatives. Catching up with the paperwork now, I've got an attached redeveloped terms of reference for the Economic Development Committee of Council. The terms of reference provides the committee members with 2 functions. One, to continue as in a role as an advisory board to council. So you would, the 3 members on the DO board plus a member of council would still be an advisory committee to council in the area of economic development. And second would be that they would function on the Destination Osoyoos board. The terms of reference provides for a 3-year term of members overall, with different starting terms to enable membership continuity. And also, in terms of implications, Council continues to have an advisory committee that has ongoing dialogue with committee members for Council information. Significant dates. Destination Osoyoos would like to have the town's representatives identified as soon as possible so that they can make board selections. And the options that are presented to Council is 1, to approve the terms of reference as presented or provide additional direction to the terms of reference. 2, identify the lengths of term for committee members and have administration send out letters informing committee members of the length of their terms. 3, provide all existing committee members with a 3-year term. And 4, only provide terms until the end of the year so that the new council can make new selections. And administration is recommending number 1 and number 2. So we're looking for approval of the terms of reference, but then we're also looking at how council wants to handle the terms. Do you want to have a continuity factor, or do you just want to make everybody into 3-year terms?
Okay. Council, please. Councillor McCordaw.
Thank you. I would like to move options 1 and 2, that we approve the 3 people that have been appointed to the board in October for a 3-year term. I don't think that it would be fair to have it just for a 1 year, and so I would move 1 and 2 with a 3-year term.
Okay, thank you. And seconder on that, Councillor Rhodes. Yeah, I think that's good. I understand staggered terms, but I don't think we're going to lose all 3 at once. And we have 3 on there right now. If there's a renewal, I think that it would work with all three having the same. Any other input onto that? Councillor Rhodes?
No, makes sense to me.
Okay, okay. All in favor? Opposed? That is carried. And just a bit of an update there. We currently on that board, Councillor Ryan has been away. I've jumped in a couple of times, and we are in the last stages of the hiring process for the new executive director or the managing director for Destination Osoyoos, which also encompasses economic development. So getting very close on the at that process, and looking forward to having someone in back in the driver's seat of Destination Osoyoos. Moving on to the next part of the meeting, and notice of motion. Any notice of motion? Going to reports. General Sun Bowl and Arena payroll accounts. The general account in the amount of $437,784.02. Sun Bowl in the amount of $13,405.59. And payroll accounts for a receipt in the amount of $67,927.16. Any council input into that? Hearing none, they will be adopted by consensus. The building permit report for the month of February 2014. Here we are. There's been a little bit of activity there. some minor improvements and additions. One new single-family house in the amount of $390,000. Total for the month $458,000. Total to date $469,000, and total to date for 2013 $266,000. So we are a bit ahead of the last calendar year. Could I have a motion to receive, please? Rhodes Plant, all in favor? That has been received. Committee reports. Any committee reports coming forward? No committee reports. CAO report. CAO Romanco, please.
Mayor Wells, if I could ask the council to do their reports first, and I can go get my report off the printer.
Perfect. Okay, councilors' reports. Councilor McCordoff, please.
Thank you. So I just wanted to take this opportunity to talk about and give some kudos to some of our local individuals and groups and teams for having done so well. And first of all, I'd like to say congratulations to J.F. Lanier. He had won the Builder's Trophy for the best custom car builder in Detroit with his yellow 1964 Buick Riviera. And I understand that he may be bringing this car to the, when Jacques Villeneuve comes, at the end of the month, or in a month or two, he'll be having the car on display. So well done. And I know it's not just JF that has done this. He has a team of people that work really hard, a lot of volunteers and people that work with him. So congratulations to all of them. Next, the Skills Canada BC. This is a group of high school students that are in the trades. And I know that our district has done really well, but in terms of Osoyoos Secondary School, there were 3 golds and 3 bronze. So Zach Baudouin, who got a gold in cabinet making, Kai Cowan in welding, and Dalton Rose in CAD, which is computer generated drawings. And third, or bronze, was Shaden Stark in cabinet making, Stephen Lindsay in automotive, and Kelsey Gorgachuk in welding. And well done to their teacher, Ivor Langley. Next, I was at a concert the other day at the Osoyoos Secondary Theatre, and it was the final concert of the Osoyoos Concert Series. There's a series of 4 that are put on, and this one was called The Wheat in the Barley, and it was fantastic, and it was almost a sellout crowd again. like the last one that they had about a month ago. So the members of this group, the Osoyoos Concert Series, are now planning, well actually they've got most of them planned for next year already, but they go down to Pacific Contact in Vancouver in about 2 weeks, and they listen to a lot of these groups and choose concerts for the next time. So I have to say congratulations to them. They organize these 4 events. They get the tickets done. They get arranged for a bus to come and pick people up. And it's a very worthwhile endeavor. And anybody who wants to donate, there are lots of businesses in town who contribute to these concert series, and individuals can also contribute and help out, which keeps the ticket prices down. So well done, and come up with some more good contacts. Also, the South Okanagan Concert Series, which is held at the Frank Venables Auditorium in Oliver, go to Pacific Contact as well, and they also put on 4 concerts a year, and quite a few people from Oliver and Osoyoos go to both of these. And then we have all of the hockey teams and things that are going on over at the Sun Bowl Arena. The 40th Atom Fiesta, 40th anniversary, pretty amazing, was held this weekend. And thank you to Brianne Hilson. I was going to say Gabriel, but that was her maiden name. She was part of organizing it. And Mr. Sun Bowl Arena, Jim Harrington, was dropped the puck, and what a perfect choice for that. Thank you, Jim. The midgets are in 100 Mile House, as you've already heard. The Pee-wees are in Nelson, and well done to both of those teams. The Osoyoos Coyotes are doing extremely well. They've passed 2, I think they're on to the 3rd round of playoffs, so go Coyotes. And also congratulations to the Sun Bowl Arena and to the community people over at the Sonora Center and Kathy Martins in particular, for getting Craft Hockeyville off the ground. And well done. Osoyoos has now got $25,000 for their arena upgrades. So those are just some of the people in our town that make a difference. So thank you to all of you.
Thanks, Councillor McCordoff. Next report, Councillor Rhodes, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Once again, very short report. Just a big acknowledgement and a way to go to JF and his accomplishment with his car. I'm going to throw out a couple of figures. I know it's probably all old news. 6 years, 20,000 hours, $300,000 to get where he was with that one car. Could be out quite a bit either way, but I'm just going by memory. Way to go, JF. This was like a major accomplishment, kind of like winning the Academy Award of Custom Car Building, and just a wonderful thing. I know how hard you and your team worked, and also happy birthday. I think it's your birthday today or yesterday. If it was yesterday, belated happy birthday to you.
Thanks, Councillor Rhodes. Councillor Plante, please.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I would also like to say congratulations to all those people. Wow, it's a good list of people that are doing exciting things in our community, so that's great. I just want to actually follow up with just some of the current news and events that are happening and that are coming up. These can be found on our website, our town website, so please take a look at it. These are just a couple that are on there. Obviously, we're at spring break, so what am I going to do with these kids? Oh my gosh. Running around for 2 weeks. So we've got some great activities happening at the Sonora Community Center. So please check into those activities. There are, again, on our website, so feel free to take a peek at that. And then on March 30th, we have what I see, and I just found out about this the other day, but pro wrestling fundraiser happening at the Sonora Center. And I just want to bring it up because there's a couple people that are involved with that. We have a portion of that proceeds from the pro wrestling coming on March 30th. Doors open at 7 to the Splash Park and also to the Spirit of the Game Society. So we're very excited about that. And if you get a chance, it's again an all age fundraising event happening on March 30th. A couple other things that are going to be coming up. April 5th, I just want to bring up a reminder about the autism awareness walk that we're having here, starting at the Sonora Center. I believe the times are from 11 to 2. Again, this is just support and awareness of families that are dealing with it, and with autism, and we're just there to support. And I will be there. Make sure you wear your superhero outfit. I have to figure out where mine is and what I'm going to be. But it's a fun day and just a chance to really bring awareness to autism. And then the next thing that we've got on this list is our 13th annual Volunteer Appreciation Luncheon on April 12th. Again, all that information is based on our website, and just wanted to throw that out there as my just a quick reminder to everyone on Channel 18 tonight. So today. So thank you very much, and I'm all good. Thank you.
Thanks, thanks, Councillor Plant. The beauty of being last is I really can't leave anything out. Everything's basically been said and well covered. I'd just like to thank the people that put on the Adam Fiesta, the 40th. That was very successful. Unfortunately, I was away for it. That's about one of the few times I get to go down to Victoria and visit my grandbabies. So I was down there for the week. Got to pay $85 one way for the ferry for Martha and I, and I certainly understand what people are talking about when we start talking about ferry rates in BC. But just for that Adam Fiesta, that was a real mark for the 40th. It was well covered by the Osceola Times, and thanks for that, Keith. Good coverage there, and I know it was a great job. J.F. Lanier, he's a genius. That's what he is. He really the work he just did put Osceola on the town. I just hope everyone knows how to pronounce it properly. That would be my wish, because it's certainly out there in the social media. Winning the Ritter Trophy and being both the owner and the builder, I don't think the trophy's never been out of the United States, and B, it's never been the builder and the owner has never been the same person. It's always been two different people. So quite a win for Osceola's. We're real proud of that whole operation up there. Kathy Martins, what can we say about Kathy Martins? Thank you very much. Wonderful, wonderful effort, great production to pull that all through and have Osceola's being the recipient of $25,000 towards Sun Bowl needs. How great is that? Thank you, Kathy Martins. On council business, heading out to again. I keep saying it's busy. It just seems to be busy. There's a regional district coming up, and I sit on Southern Interior Development Initiative Trust and Okanagan Basin Water Board, and they're all quite busy right now. So that really takes up a lot of my time, and I believe that covers my report. So I'll turn this back to CAO Romanko.
Thank you, Mayor Wells. Batting cleanup, I guess, today for a change. Just a few of the things that our administration has been involved in over the last couple of weeks and into the near future here, starting community services, that the new spring leisure guide has been circulated, is now available online. The washroom renovations at the Splash Park have started and should be ready for the opening. Stage upgrades have started, and the floor has been completed, and they have ordered the new curtains. We've received notification that we will receive a new AED through the Heart and Stroke Foundation as part of a grant program. And the majority of the restoration work is completed at Desert Park. The community service master planning process will be underway very shortly. April 1st to 3rd is scheduled for a council meeting. Also, then these are separate meetings with our consultant is going to be getting input. One would be with council, a second with staff, and a third with selected stakeholders, and then a public open house. So in that 3-day period, there's going to be a lot of talk about community services, recreation, leisure services in our community. In terms of finance, year-end preparation, and the auditor has been in and gone, so we'll just be waiting for his report. Currently compiling information for tax rate bylaw, finalizing the fire protection agreement, and we've sent that off to the Osoyoos Rural Fire Protection District for review, and we're waiting for their response. And in Public Works, they've received the 1/2 and 3/4 tons that were budgeted for, and one is already converted, and they're working on the second one. The storm sewers scepter at Bayview, that project is all covered up, and they're in the process of just cleaning out the pipes, and then they'll be moving on to 36th Avenue to start that project. Pumps and motors installed at Station 9. Reservoir cleaning awarded and completed, scheduled for March and early April. The booster station at the tennis courts is well underway. Odor control units have been ordered. The town's looking kind of swept up as we're getting cleaned up all around, and the parks maintenance is nearly completed. Myself, I've been working on the final agreement with our BFI contract so that we've got everything pulled together for the MMBC program, and that'll be coming to council next council meeting probably for their approval. Had some communication with the Resort Municipality program. They've asked for some additional information on some of our projects, and it looks like we might be getting more money this coming year. So just stay tuned for that. The figures they were giving me were very much different than what we've been given in the past, and it's positive. So we got it spent already probably too. So also meeting with the regional district in relation to their compost site review. They've been looking at all the landfills in the regional district, and they're going to be making an assessment as to their suitability for a regional composting site. And also completed and submitted the greenhouse gas reports. So that's a few of the things that I've been involved in over the last couple of weeks.
Great. Thank you. So just as we're heading for adjournment, I'd just like to say thanks, Val, and thanks, Channel 18, for your coverage. Great to have you here. And we're ready to adjourn. Councillor Plant with that motion, and seconded by Councillor Rhodes. All in favor? We are adjourned in a nice, close to spring, sunny afternoon out there. Must be close to spring because the wind is blowing. Good afternoon, folks. Bye for now.